Hey everybody, how's it going today? Steven Richards back again with another video on the flat earth topic. But today we're gonna specifically be talking about the moon. Gonna have some little theories on the moon, some actual facts, some facts that aren't real, and overall we're just gonna speculate on what the moon actually is. Many people, cultures, and religions have been mysterized by the moon for centuries. According to mainstream science, the moon is a big gray spherical rock full of craters and is about 230,000 miles away from Earth, and is perfectly sized and far away from the sun to make it look like the same size. MoonConnection.com says, if the moon didn't spin at all, then eventually it would show its far side to the Earth while moving over our planet in orbit. However, since the rotational period is exactly the same as the orbital period, the same portion of the moon's sphere is always facing the Earth. So right there, they're just telling you straight up that it's a coincidence that we don't see the dark side of the moon, because it's perfectly spinning with us and spinning on its own so that we only see one side of the moon. But wait, it gets better. NASA also claims that they've been to the moon. They've also coined this mission, this quote-unquote mission actually, as the greatest achievement of mankind. Now, hearing something like that can definitely make you feel proud, to be a human. Like, oh, we've accomplished this. We can accomplish more. We're unstoppable. Nothing can stop us. But the matter of the fact is, the truth is that we've never been to the moon, never have been to the moon, and we're never gonna be to the moon. And if you don't believe me, there's going to be a link in the description to a video called The NASA Hoax Machine by JT Reverse Brainwash. Like, if you don't believe me, just watch that video. It's not too long, but probably some of the greatest information on NASA hoaxes that you'll ever see. It covers most of them, and they're just too good to be true, I guess you can put it that way, because they're just so bad at what they do. NASA, they're bad at faking this stuff. But I don't have time to cover all of their fakery today, so we're just gonna move it along. But like I said, check his page out, links in the description, and enjoy all of his videos. His other work is phenomenal. But back to the point. And the point is, you're gonna have to learn to stop trusting NASA and everything that they're telling you. Like, use your own eyes, use your own senses. Don't take what another guy is telling you as fact. Like, I could lie to you right now and say, yeah man, I've been to Disney World, it's awesome. I've never been there. But how do you know that? We did some personal research and looked at, I don't know, like my family picture record book. You'll see that I've never been to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland, but not Disney World. So I just lied to you right there. So you guys gotta realize that it's very, very easy to lie to someone. All right, just a super quick breakdown why you can't trust NASA. There's these radiation belts. They are the Van Allen radiation belts, discovered sometime between 58 and 59. I'm not near my computer, so I am not going to look that up, but I know it's one of those two. So they're described as deadly belts of radiation that start in the upper atmosphere and go out for a few hundred, maybe a couple thousand miles. They are right between us and the moon. But the thing is, all the Apollo missions that have been to the moon and back have punctured these radiation belts twice, once there and once back. It's around 20 times if you add them all up. And not one astronaut has ever reported any radiation poisoning or contamination, nothing like that. Nothing has failed. None of the gadgets, none of the equipment hasn't failed. But they've gone through the most deadliest belts of radiation ever discovered. And then I believe it was 2014 when they were hyping up the Orion program for the Mars missions and stuff like that. A scientist who was, I don't know if he's a scientist, just a spokesperson for NASA who was breaking down the whole mission, was saying that ultimate shielding is going to be put to the test as Orion tries to breach through the radiation belts. And he also went on to say that we need to perfect these shieldings so that we can send people into space and through the belts. Sounds great, like, oh, they've taken precautions, good for them. One issue. This was, I think, last year or the summer before this was released. So what happened to all the guys who we sent into space in the 60s and 70s? There was no shielding. There is no radiation protection. I don't even think that was around back then. The only thing you would have is gold or lead, and obviously you're not going to put that on top of a spacecraft because it's going to be 10 times heavier than it's supposed to be. So you see what I'm saying? You can't take what these guys are giving to us as complete fact. You gotta do your own research. Don't even trust what I'm telling you right now. Take everything I say and just go and validate it. Go verify it. I'm not a guru. I'm not Jesus Christ or nothing like that. I don't know everything. Just your average 21-year-old dude who just wants to know what the hell is going on out there. So like I was saying earlier, use common sense. It actually works. A lot of people don't use it, and there's a lot of dumbasses out there. I'm not gonna lie. But if you use common sense on everything that it's applicable for, which is everything, then you're gonna live a lot happier because you're not gonna be making silly mistakes that you wouldn't make, or that you would make if you were just blindly going through stuff like most people are. But common sense goes a long way, and it's only proven wrong when you can prove it wrong. If you can, a really stupid and easy example of this is hold up a quarter in your left hand, hold up a penny or a dime in your right hand, and then hold a quarter behind the penny to make it look like that they're the same size. Now, if you told someone to just look at this like that, you took a picture of it and be like, so common sense says that these are the same size, right? And no. I'll tell you why, because the bigger objects behind it making it look like the same size. So that's one way that you can shut common sense down. But if you just use a little bit more common sense, you'll realize that the other bigger quarter is behind the little object, which can be a penny or a dime. Use whatever you want to use. But now NASA and science, they try to stretch this to an extreme. They're trying to tell me that, and you and everyone else, they don't try, they do tell as fact that the where is it on my paper here, the sun is 400 times larger and further away from the earth than the moon. So it gives us the illusion that they're the same size. But a quick question, how do you know that? Have you been into space? Have you been to the moon? Have you made a trip to the sun to verify its size and its distance? I don't think you have. I don't think they have. Actually, I'll tell you right now, they haven't. They haven't left here. Well, maybe they have, but like that's a whole different conversation because they definitely haven't gone to space or what you think space is. But basically, there's no one to verify their claims that the sun is 400 times larger and further away than the moon to make it look like it's the same size. When matter of the fact is, I look outside every day and they're the same size in the sky. Because more than likely, they are the same size. But unfortunately, I can't prove that. Because I'm down here on the earth. I don't have $7 trillion. I can't shoot up a balloon or a rocket to verify the sizes of them. But I can analyze like pictures and videos from high altitude weather balloon videos and rocket launches to like get a ballpark range on how far and how big these objects are. And from my personal, this is just my stuff from my research, I have a very tough time believing that the sun is 92.26 million miles away and that the moon is 230,000 miles away. I believe that from my personal research, this is what I believe. I believe that they are somewhere between like maybe 500 and 3,500 miles up. Once we get at least like a rough size of what the sun and the moon are, like how big in diameter they actually are, then you can start measuring the rays and the angles to tell you how far they are away. But until then, nothing can be done, so we're going to continue to speculate, and this is productive speculating. We're not speculating on stuff that isn't real, because the moon and the sun, they just happen to be real. But now, I had a whole second segment lined up. Actually, I've had it ready now for around 4 or 5 days now, but after rereading a couple of things that I have written down, I'm still going to talk about both of my speculation and theories on what the moon actually is, but I had what I call theory A and theory B. Before I was favoring theory B, but now I'm favoring theory A, and I'll tell you why in a second. But first, I should probably, introduce you to theory A and theory B. Theory A would be that the moon is a object that rotates above us, but also rotates by itself. But itself is not it's not a ball. It would be more or less like taking a tennis ball or a baseball, cutting it in half, and that's it. You just take one of the halves, and that's what I think. Not anymore. That was the one I'm throwing out, but that was one of the theories I've came up with over the past week or so. The only reason I thought that one had a little bit more like truth behind it or reality to it is because, well, either way, we don't see the dark side of the moon, but I was implying that we actually do. Because when, let's say the moon's a new moon and there's nothing in the sky, I'm saying that would be the dark side of the moon, but the dark side would be like an otherworldly, other dimensional matrix that would just conform with the air particles around it or any type of molecules around it and make it shape shift or light shift in a way so that it's undetectable. So in the night sky, it would be completely black, and in the day sky, it would just be transparent or blue or see-through, however you want to put it. But after a couple days of kind of just like double, triple checking what I've written down, and if I actually wanted to present that as one of my go-tos, I found that there's a couple holes in that, it probably wouldn't work. It could work is what I'm saying, but it just doesn't fit our reality. But then again, if we're here on a flat motionless plane created by something, maybe we're not supposed to see it. Maybe it's the dark side of the moon for a reason, because we're not supposed to be able to view it. Maybe there's something there. Could be an outpost of some sort, but like I said, I have no proof of any of this, so I'm just going to let that one slide, and we're going to move on to B, which is what I think the moon is now. And that would be that the moon would be a non-rotating object, and the phases would be explained by just light turning on and off on the lunar surface that we can see. And when I say non-rotating, I mean independently non-rotating. It's just a stationary object that's in the night sky, sometimes in the day sky, depending on its phase, but it's up there. It rotates us, but it doesn't move on its own. Like, there's no axis. It doesn't spin in a circle like they say we do, or that it does. I think that it's just up there pointing down at us, and it just rotates. And when it's a half moon, half of it's lit up. When it's a full moon, it's all lit up. And when it's a new moon, it's just switched off. I think that's on an illuminated time schedule that has been in effect since they've been documenting the moon. It's roughly like a 27 day cycle. Goes from, obviously, the phases: new moon, first quarter, full moon, last quarter. And I'm just saying that I'm taking this I'm taking it at face value. I'm looking up at the sky at night, and sometimes half of it's lit up, sometimes it's fully lit up, and it's all synchronized. It starts from the right hand side of the moon, and then it slowly starts to brighten up day by day, and then it's completely lit up, and then from the right side it starts getting darker. Like, oh, so that part's shut off. Next day comes around, that part's shut off. It gets even more and more. And the only reason that I think this is the right or more logical speculation rather than the example A that I said earlier is because if you take a picture of the moon, well, I've seen some pictures that show that nothing on the surface has changed over the cycles. So it's not like it's completely rotating. You're still seeing the same craters in the same position every night. It's just a matter of if they're going to be lit up or not. Something else that has caught in my eyes the past couple of days is that if we're on a flat, motionless Earth, which I tend to believe, and the evidence shows that that's what we're on, the moon is above us. So whatever we're seeing up there, and if it's the one that I think it is, that's just it's just some object that has a circular, maybe almost spherical shape to it that just doesn't move and doesn't rotate, and it just rotates above us, not by itself. We're only seeing the bottom half of that because there's something else on the other side of that. Well, that's how we think here in the third dimension, that if I'm holding a pencil and I only see one side, that there's another side to the pencil. But we don't know that about the moon because we've never been up there to examine the far side. But this model is saying that there isn't a far side, I guess. It's just an object that looks down at us, and it's so high that we can't even begin to understand what's on the other side. So how about we start trying to understand what's on the side that we see every night, that has phases, that we can document and take pictures of and write books upon and make actual facts about them based upon common sense and using our eyes, using our intelligence levels, just examining, re-examining, and then coming back to it in a couple months, re-examining it then, just to make sure that everything lines up. But that's going to happen with the moon because the phases have been the same forever, and they're probably going to be the same because whatever constructed the moon made it so that the illumination and the rotation schedule will never fail. And now that I look at it this way, the lunar waves that Crow 777, you can check out his page, it's literally just Crow 777. He's got some great cameras, and every time there's a full moon or around there, he'll document the moon, and he comes across sometimes this little pulsating. It almost looks like the moon's like refreshing itself. Maybe this is easier to understand now if the Earth is flat and the moon is actually just an object that lights up at some points. Maybe because I don't see the pulse going through the dark stuff when I look at the lunar waves, but maybe it's just whatever, or maybe it's just like the creator or something, whoever put it there is just hitting not the refresh button, but the hitting something to make sure that it's working on all cylinders. Or maybe it's already built into it. That's probably the more logical solution. They wouldn't make something that has to be like fixed every 200 or 300 years. Like whatever put us here, made all this, they did a pretty good goddamn job, and I'll give them credit for that, because there's so much that we don't know about where we are right now. But I think that's gonna wrap things up. Any questions, if you need to contact me, just throw me an email at scuba2114@gmail.com. That'll be thrown in the description as well. I'm on Facebook, Steve Richards, same spelling as my YouTube name. I'm in a good amount of flat earth groups, so you can catch me there. Just shoot me a message there. And other than that, just remember what I told you before. Don't trust anything that I'm telling you, that anyone else is telling you, that NASA's telling you. Just take what I'm saying, go verify it. Go make your own, I don't want to say theories upon a theory, but go make your own accusations and assumptions based on your common sense and your knowledge, not just repeating something that someone has told you for centuries. So, like, don't trust me, trust yourself, all right? Like Jaron always says, open your mind, there's something inside. Or maybe he doesn't say that, it's just on a bunch of his videos. But that's it, so y'all have a great day. Thanks.